How do you see the trilogy fight between DC and Miocic playing out?
Honestly, we don't know. I don't know because like we've seen it go one way for DC, another way for Stipe, and when it did go to Stipe, DC looked like he was handling that fight, like he was on his way to TKO. So I think they're just so evenly matched, and after fighting each other twice, they're really gonna. They already have a feel for each other. They know what range they can strike at. They know the strength of the other guys. So one thing I do expect, I expect more aggressiveness. I expect both guys to just engage. I don't really expect there to be like a feeling out process because they've already had that. So.
Do you have a preference who wins the fight, and do you envision when you fight for the title, who's on the other side of the octagon? Like, who do you envision being there?
Honestly, I don't have a preference because I know they're both older, and they both only have maybe one or two more fights in them, so it really doesn't matter. And that's the beauty of my game plan. The way I fight is universal. It works for Stipe. It works for DC. I know DC is also a very accomplished wrestler, Olympics and all that, but I'm bigger, I'm faster, I'm more explosive at this stage in my career than he is. I'm longer. I have all the dimensional advantages, so my game plan works for both of them. I would prefer, though, honestly, Stipe, because I think a lot of people would agree he's going to go down as probably the number one or number two heavyweight of all time when he retires.
And if DC beats him, and DC kind of alluded to that potentially being his last fight, that could potentially delay things even more, right?
I don't know how that works. I try not to think about it. It's a little depressing when you think about all the ways it can go wrong and how it could further prolong my climb up. But yeah, that could be another obstacle. But if it is, I'll wait it out. I'm only 29. I've got at least 8 more years in this game, so I'm here. I'll be here.
Yeah, listen, who's not a fan of Nick and Nate Diaz, right? Everybody is. They always show up. They always fight. They put on good performances. They're good on the microphone. They're captivating. They're not good on the microphone per se, but they're very captivating when they speak. So, yeah, listen, I'm as much of a Diaz fan as the next person. I'm not a fan of him stripping down his fellow fighters, to be honest. Listen, you didn't want the fight, or you got your ass kicked, and he's always he's always dropping how much money he makes these days. Am I right in saying that? And he wasn't always making that kind of money. Prior to fighting Conor McGregor, he wasn't on that kind of money. He was on an average pay. So I get it. He's hurt. He's a little pissed off. He wants it to be him in that situation. He wants to be the one fighting for the belt or a part of the big paydays. But unfortunately, you got beat recently. What did Gilbert? Who was it that said? Oh, it was Usman Harrington. Give me Usman's retort to Nate Diaz.
Well, he defended Burns' credentials, not only saying this guy's on a 6-fight win streak. He came up to welterweight. He's won 4 fights in a row in a very short window. He ended it with, bottom line, if you got double-digit L's, shut the fuck up and sit your bum ass the fuck down. Oh, and once again, don't forget to buy the pay-per-view.
All right, fair enough. Hey, listen, we'll leave that there. Listen, Diaz, just get in there and fight. You're only as good as your last fight is what they say. And you got beat by Masvidal. I want to see him fight again. I like watching him fight. I'm a fan of watching him fight. I'm not a fan of watching him talk shit on the sidelines and just berate other fighters. I'm not into that. Where should we go, Lewis?
Well, I think it's kind of interesting because it sort of relates. Because I guess Dana said that Conor turned down the opportunity to replace Khabib versus Ferguson for the interim title. McGregor said he's not a replacement fighter, and Dana moved on accordingly. As a result, Conor tried to get a fight with Justin Gaethje for an interim belt, but Dana said that is impossible. The wheels are already in motion for a unification bout. So, also very similarly to Nate, you have Conor sort of chirping out here. He had a crazy win. But at the same time, it's like he's trying to sort of inject himself in the conversation. You've mentioned this before. Those two should just fight each other right now.
Yeah, no, but they can't. Simple as that. I understand Dana tried to make, Conor versus Gagey. Was it Conor versus Gagey? Is that what he said he tried to make? Conor versus Ferguson. Sorry, what am I saying? But he said, I'm not a replacement fighter. And I get that. That's a fair point by Conor there. I'm not a replacement fighter. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to train for the possibility of a fight that might not even come off. Totally respect that. That's his wishes, and I understand that. But also from the UFC's perspective, they had to put someone else in there, so they put Justin Gaethje in there. Gaethje beat Ferguson and is now the interim champion, right? So they're going to book him versus the undisputed champion. That's just the way it works. So I understand everyone's point of view there. UFC did the right thing. Conor did the right thing. He said, I'm not a replacement fighter. I understand that and I respect that. So at the end of the day, there's no issue there with any of that. As far as I'm concerned, I have no problem with the stance that McGregor took. And of course, if Gage is now the interim champ, that we always say that makes you the number one contender. You don't then start defending the interim belt in the meantime before you fight the disputed champion. That is the next fight. Simple as that. You win the interim champ, then you fight Khabib or whoever the champion is in your next fight. So, that's the wheels are going along as they should do, in my opinion.
Yeah, and if Khabib was out past September, I could see if there was no return date for Khabib and we had no idea when he was coming back, but we got a date on the books. They were talking about this date for a little while. So yeah, that all makes a lot of sense.
Conor McGregor retired at 6 a.m. on Sunday morning through social media. I mean, it seemed a little bit bizarre and possibly insincere, but what was your reaction to that? Is he done? Is Conor done?
Conor's not done, man. It was another, again, come on.
Silly.
Everybody's, the George situation, the John, Conor, everybody's trying to get more money, and these already get paid a ridiculous amount of money. So it's like, all right, so fight me then. Come on, John. You want the money? Earn it. Let's go.
Hey, I'm with you on that. On some point, it's a competitor, though. I mean, do you want to compete for this thing? You got a world championship. I'd like to be At some point, we got to be able to default back to dreams. And the dreams didn't have anything to do with the money or the fame. It had to do with the accomplishment, right?
And that's what, I don't know. He doesn't, it's not about the accomplishment anymore for him, though. It's just about the money. 100% about the money. He's already accomplished everything in the sport, in his mind. I mean, kind of, to be honest, he's defended his belt I don't know how many times. He got busted and still came back off of that. You know what I mean? He's done what he had to do. I mean, the only thing left for him to do would be to fight a middleweight, which makes no sense, or go up and fight heavyweight. Or rematch me and get that little blemish off your record that everybody's constantly harassing him about.
Hey, I agree with you, and I tell you, just the fan in me comes out. That's the match to make. Without a question, that's the match to make. And frankly, and I don't think it's the intent of John, but the more he resists the match, in many ways, is just the more we want to see the match. I mean, that's going to be a big fight. When that comes around, if that's on Fight Island, Apex, any way they want to do it, the world's going to stop what they're doing and watch.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, man. It's just getting this guy to freaking go along, man. I want to prove
that's always the tough part.
And let's do it again. Let's. I'm not scared to bleed. I'm not scared to lose. Let's go, man. I want to make this money too. I want to support my family and my people too. Let's go.
But so when does the time come for Jorge Masvidal is holding out and saying that he's not getting the money that he deserves for this fight? And I think a lot of people now, and this is probably a little bit unfair to Gilbert Burns, would say that you guys are in this situation are kind of the problem, where one guy's holding out for more money, but there's one guy that's right behind him ready to take his opportunity. So how active do you want to be in terms of expanding this and start talking to other people in the sport to maybe make the situation a little better, based on what we just said, is that when fighters do talk collectively, it seems to have some positive results?
Listen, I got nothing against Jorge Masvidal personally. I think he's a great fighter. He's bringing a lot of excitement to the division. He have a good team doing his deals and doing all the stuff like that. But in a way, Kamaru Usman was ready to fight April 18. I have nobody to fight him. Kamaru Usman was ready to fight May 9. Kamaru Usman today, when he weighed 183, right? Kamaru, May 9, he needed a fight. Nobody to fight him. June 6, I have nobody to fight him. You have to understand, what do you think I want to fight? Kamaru Usman versus Masvidal or Gilbert Burns? They are teammates, they're like brothers, and it's so close to home, right? You know, but let's talk about Gilbert Burns for a moment. I see a lot of people on the internet talking. Anyway, if you have double-digit losses, we shouldn't even be talking about title shot or who should fight for the title. Straight up, I don't care who you are, if we're friend, not friend. I don't give a. Number one, Gilbert Burns have knocked out Demian Maia, who beat Masvidal. That's number one. Number two, Tyron Woodley claimed he's the greatest welterweight all the time. I don't agree, but say he is, right? Gilbert Burns owned him for 5 rounds, right? 50-44. And he was the number one ranked guy, right? Gilbert now become number one. Who the are you to tell me Masvidal is the number one, ring guy? Let's be real. He's the number 3 contender. He's the biggest payday. Hey, he's the most. He's gonna make Kamaru the most money. I'm being real, But I can't take him from his hand, to fight. But did he deserve more money? I think all fighters deserve more money. I think all of us deserve more money. Hey, if fighter more money, I'll be making a lot more money too.